All right. We're live from Fly on the Wall Productions this morning. On a is it Tuesday yet, Paul?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, all day.
21st. Sherilyn had a big concern last night. She was like, isn't the spring, the equinox supposed to happen on the 21st, and why was it yesterday on the 20th? Do you know the answer to that? I know this is kind of random stuff. Do you know the...
I don't.
All right. Maybe somebody does know. And
but I think historically, the patterns of the moon were different than what they calendared it now. They used to have 13 months of 28 days. And that's changed, and I'm sure it has something to do with all that stuff. So
okay.
It probably just doesn't line up perfectly anymore because they changed the calendar days.
Nothing is lining up perfectly anymore, it seems. I don't know. I don't know.
We're going to figure that out today.
You see that? You see what I just did right there? Good morning, everyone. It's 26 degrees. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies. And we'll give you more details on the forecast this morning. I promise. We're going to have a very interesting conversation. And I want to say, first off, for our YouTubers, thank you so much for listening, for supporting the podcast, for subscribing. We appreciate it. Our YouTuber list is getting longer and longer and longer. Jack is with us this morning, and you guys were just talking about Finding Nemo or some shit. I don't even know what you guys are talking about but Jack's got some sports for us this morning. What do you have, pal?
All right. So, March Madness has been going on for the last few weeks.
It has?
Yeah, and
it started a few days ago, pal. What do you mean last couple of weeks? Oh, the women.
Yeah, well, March 17th. I guess you're right. I guess it's been a week or so.
Yeah.
I think I got too ahead of myself, but we're headed into the Sweet 16 for men's. We got number 7 Michigan State taking on number 3 Kansas State tonight at 6:30. Okay. And we got number 8 Arkansas taking on number 4 UConn at 7:15. We got number 9 Florida Atlantic taking on number 4 Tennessee at 9 tonight. And then Gonzaga taking on UCLA tonight at 9:45. Then Friday we have San Diego taking on number 1 Alabama. We have Miami, number 5, taking on number 1 Houston at 7:15. We have number 15 Princeton taking on number 6 Creighton. And then finally, we have number 3 Xavier taking on number 2 Texas, and those games are on Friday.
Okay.
Then we have Elite 8 starting before we get down to the Final Four, and then of course the national championship. And that's about all I have for NCAA. However, I just want to talk about local sports tryouts are starting.
Yeah.
So if you're playing baseball, lacrosse, softball, get ready for some of that stuff. Tryouts are starting. And then MLB's opening day is confirmed to be October 1st.
Okay.
So that's pretty exciting. We've seen a lot of action with the World Baseball Classic, so I'm excited to get the regular season going. But that's about all I got, JD.
Really? I want to see. I just want to see real quick if I can grab Shep this morning. I'm not sure if she's around, but she and I were talking a little bit, and I told her that you were going to be on this morning. I don't know if she'll answer. You know Shep, Lori Shep.
Yeah. Great
lady. My God. And somebody that's like infatuated with this stuff.
Hey, she knows her stuff.
Paul, are you following? Do you have a bracket? Do you do any of this?
No,
I'm
not into basketball.
You're a baseball guy.
Baseball only, yeah.
Shep, you there?
Good morning, dear. How are you?
What are you saying, Shep? How Jack was just on here a second ago. He's just kind of running things down. Am I winning? Am I doing well? How's my bracket? I have no idea.
Well, I tuned in when I heard, no, I'm not into basketball, baseball.
Oh.
That was Paul.
Yeah, that was Paul that said that.
Paul's a monosportist.
There's nothing wrong with that. What baseball team are we talking about, or you don't want to talk about it?
What?
She's saying, what baseball team do you
Oh, New York Mets.
Yeah.
Always been the Mets. I grew up in New Jersey. It was Mets or the Yankees. I chose the Mets.
Oh, my God, that's a riot, because here at the rehab clinic that I work at, we are either Mets or Yankees, and I've been a long-suffering Mets fan.
Excellent.
Except for 1986, that was a good year for us.
Yeah, I was 5, so I think that was right when I started getting into baseball. It was like that year.
Ouch!
That
You
hurt.
didn't need to say that, Paul. You really didn't need to say you were
Listen
5
to the
at
rest
the
of
time.
the listen to the rest of the episode, and you'll find out that doesn't matter. Everything's okay. It was not intended as an insult. I was just speaking from my own experience.
Oh yeah, right.
This is
Flag on the field.
This is just what it is. I've been a Mets fan since I don't know, it was like 1987 or 1988 when I started watching baseball.
Okay. Well, then you missed the really good World Series.
I did.
Come on.
I missed the only World Series. The only one they won. But that's okay.
That's true. That's true. We are going back a ways, aren't we?
My theory is that people are so negative in New York that they will not let the Mets win. Because like even with Edwin Diaz just got injured in the World Baseball Classic, and I'm watching a video on it, and all the comments, everybody's like, "Well, there goes the season." We haven't even started yet. But that's that negativity
funny.
that people bring to it, and then they create the losing seasons because of it.
See, one of my good friends here at work is a diehard Yankee fan, and she could not wait to tell me about Edwin Diaz. She couldn't wait. I didn't know at the moment. I hadn't heard. And then like a week later, if that, she sends me a text that says Brandon Nemo's limping off the field.
That was very
I
disheartening.
Yankee fans, Yankee or Red Sox fans, they're just glorified that, the Mets are done, so they say.
Yep. Every time the Mets lose.
we're not done
Yep.
if we go to a 5-man rotation. Don't you agree?
Right.
I mean, we got to keep Scherzer and Verlander fresh. Is that going to be easy or hard to do?
I think it'll be hard to do.
I think it's gonna be impossible.
Yeah.
One of them's gonna get injured.
I know. Every year I have hopes. Okay, I'm going to ask you one more Mets question.
All right.
Would you trade Bruce? I'm probably going to say his last name wrong. Beatty? It's Beatty, isn't it?
Yeah, Beatty. Yeah, I always want to call him Batty, but they pronounce it
Yeah,
Beatty.
I was going to say Batty. I call him Beatty. So we're on the same page. That's awesome. Would you trade him or keep him if you're a GM of the Mets?
I don't know.
It depends on what for.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, if it was for a starting pitching, maybe. But I'm one. I like when you have the same players on the same team all the time. So because he's Mets only at this point. I would prefer to keep him and trade somebody else that hasn't been a Met their whole life. So that's just my. I don't know.
I just thought when they signed Carlos Correa, and I know that fell apart, but
I didn't like that.
I thought Beatty. Yeah, I thought Beatty was going to get shipped out of the organization, and I like him. I like the young prospects that we have within our farm system. I really do.
Yep. I'm actually disappointed that Verlander came over.
Me too.
He's a Hall of Famer, but he's not a Met, and I don't like him.
He's on the back end of his career too.
Yeah.
Back end, and
he's
he
as old
just
as I
came
am.
for the money.
Right.
I mean, what
that's
did we
what a lot
give
of them
him?
do.
What did we give him? $40 million? Am I making that number
Is
up?
it 2 years or
30 million?
3 years?
I think it was 2 years. Yeah, 80 million maybe. So maybe 40 million a year, something like that.
No, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, can you tell me if JD has filled in his bracket? That's probably not on his wall anymore.
He has nothing written. It is on the wall. He has nothing in handwriting. There's everything's typed. So I guess that's the original games.
Yeah, no, this is Lori.
Some things were highlighted.
Lori bought me this poster.
I did.
Shep, admittedly, nothing's been done since you were here that night with
I'm
my
filling
yellow.
out Eileen's over here.
Yeah, Jack's over here working on Raylene's poster, and I don't even know how. Just let me know if I'm winning any money, Lori. Okay?
Did you bet any money? You got to put money in before you can win, right?
Oh, you do?
I think so.
Yeah. We, you know what we did? We bet on like barbecue sauce, cabbage cheese, Ben and Jerry's. I don't know.
Yes.
We were betting food stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just a friendly bet amongst friends.
Mm-hmm.
JD, I'm going to send you a picture. I'm going to email you a picture of the updated bracket.
Okay.
And I do expect you to fill it in later on. No rush. But I'm going to give you an up-to-date on who is winning, and you can fill it in because they don't play again until Thursday.
Okay.
But with that being said, we are all doing awful.
Ooh,
100% awful.
really?
Do you remember when Garrett and I said that it's probably one of the most wide open fields this year because there's no favored teams?
Yes.
Well, typically the number one seeds in each region at least make it to this weekend. We only have two that are still moving on. So you and Autry, the South and the East bracket is completely done because there were upsets. So you guys don't even have teams in it anymore in those brackets. And wait for it, neither do I.
All right. So I can call Autry and harass him a little bit.
You can tell him that you guys have 27 correct predictions. I have 30, but that's not very good.
All right.
I should have done percentage-wise. I'll do that later because it's not very good. We're not looking good. I'm going to say that.
Jack, you have some local stuff, some local sports?
I mean, I just know tryouts are starting up for the spring sports coming in.
All right.
But I don't think a lot's happening right now. I know baseball just had pitcher and catcher. But yeah, tryouts started yesterday. So.
All right. And Shep, you're going to get in here soon, we hope.
I will come in whenever you want me to, my friend, because we
it.
got to start talking. Football never takes time off, and Audrey can back me on that one. There's never a downtime for football.
There's a draft coming up, isn't there?
In April, the end of April, the college football players will be drafted into the NFL.
All right.
And it's a 3-day event. That's how long this is.
Okay.
In my eyes, it's 2 days because I don't follow it once it gets late into the draft. So, yes. But can I just tell you, you and Autry are alive as long as UCLA wins. So just keep thinking UCLA, okay?
All right. When are they playing?
I think they're playing Thursday night against they're going up against the only team I have alive. So you and I are going against each other this week.
All right. It's good to know. It's good to know. Thanks, Shep.
I miss you.
Yeah, miss you too. Get in here soon, man. All right, please.
All right, you just throw me some nights that you want to hang out, and I'll be there,
my
okay?
God. Anytime.
Okay. All right, then I'll throw you some nights.
You got it. Love you, Shep.
Love you too.
Over and out.
Over and out. Bye.
Such a great lady. Love having her on. Paul, thank you. So that's everything, Jack?
Yeah. We're all good.
That's
over
everything
here.
you got. All right. So you're over there working on.
Yeah. Raylene's bracket over here.
Whew. All right. Work it good because she's watching. She's watching you right now.
Don't worry, Raylene.
Bro, thank you for this liquid gold here.
Yeah, you're welcome.
My God, I got to show. Can I show this on camera?
I think so. You hold it up in front of the camera, I think they'll see it.
Look at this. My God. I mean, what do you... Tell me about this. This is love in a mason jar
Sure.
right here. I
Yeah.
mean, this is like... For folks that are not Vermonters or not familiar with what we do here, this is sacred right here. This
I
is
suppose.
maple syrup, ultra homemade, like sitting around the backyard fire, boiling it down in small batches, super small batches. 40 gallons of tree sap makes 1 gallon. That's the general ratio.
Give or take, yep.
Without the reverse osmosis and the evaporators and all that stuff. I mean, if you're just doing it
I don't know about that stuff.
old-fashioned style, there's love and time and
Yeah, and I chose the coldest day of the last couple of weeks to do it. That's not the coldest day. It wasn't that. It was cold out though.
So when you know you've got the real unfiltered stuff. When it's a little cloudy, what's in here? Is there some bark in here?
No.
Some sawdust. Is there?
I don't know.
Ashes?
My understanding there was ash in it. I filtered that out. I did run it through a filter.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I filter it.
Oh.
Filter it twice.
Wow.
Yeah. But there's a little bit of a smoky flavor to it though because it's on an open fire and there's constantly wood cinders falling into it. But it's all hardwood. Yeah. I don't know. I guess it's safe.
We'll do a little.
You're gonna break the seal, okay?
Can I?
We got to refrigerate it after that.
Well, I will.
All right.
I mean, I would love.
Well, I mean,
to.
With syrup, if it molds, you can just scrape that off and reboil it, and it's fine.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, so there's my understanding is called sugar sand, is what's sediment at the bottom of that, and that doesn't get filtered out.
Okay.
Take a swig, drink it down.
Is there any booze in this?
No. I'm sure you could put some in if you needed to.
And you can put this in. I mean, I love maple syrup in my coffee. I mean, I just love it on everything. But
Does it taste like syrup?
oh my God, buddy,
Nature did that.
that's unbelievable.
Isn't it amazing? You drill a hole into a tree and it bleeds, and then you boil it, and then you got this. It's amazing. I wish I would have started doing syrup years ago, but I just only started. This is my 3rd year doing it.
Paul,
It's fun.
I got to tell you, man, I'm not just saying this. And I know there's people watching, listening that are going to be like, oh, yeah, he's just saying that.
Sure, I'm thinking that too.
That might be the best goddamn syrup I've ever had. I mean, that's unreal, man.
It's just, it all tastes the same to me.
No, that's...
Good. Well, like you said, it was made with love.
Damn, that's awesome. You know, when it's that good, can't put it in the coffee. That's disrespectful. Can't do it. Won't do it.
Put it on ice cream.
A little bit of vanilla ice cream, maybe, yeah. Or,
Ice cream's good.
or some sugar on snow. Thank you, pal. Thank you.
You know how to do
for
that? You boil. I forget what the temperature
it's
is.
gotta be
You
it's
boil it up
gotta
to a
be
specific temperature.
certain temperature.
And then
so that
pour it out in the snow.
like
with the softball stage or something. What is that? The softball, hardball? That's what I think for candy making.
I don't know.
Certain temperature, and then more of the water comes out, so it becomes more taffy.
Yeah, it turned taffy. That's the word I was trying to think of.
Yeah. Or you can keep boiling it, and it turns into maple sugar.
Welcome to spring, man.
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday, I don't know what you were doing, but at one point I had the windows down, and I was on the interstate, and I was sticking my head out the window going, woo! Just for 10 seconds. Mm-hmm. Just breathing in that fresh air, man. Oh, it was great. It was 46, 47 degrees, I think, is what it got to.
Yeah.
Feels good, man.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Feels great. There's a ton of stuff all over our page here. There's a paint and sip coming up at Gusto's that Raylene has posted up this morning. That is on Thursday, April 6th. I'm just glancing through here very quickly. We have K through 2 open gym night, Barrytown Elementary School. That is tonight, again, from 5:30 until 7 o'clock. So that's really awesome that they're doing this. Let the kids run around and be kids and have fun and get crazy. Fish and Wildlife warning us that bears are starting to become active as the temperatures warm up. So if you're going to be out doing any snowshoeing or
picnicking, bears are into that.
Cross-country skiing, any of that stuff, just be on the lookout for, some bears. They're coming out of hibernation, and they're really hungry. So, speaking of fish and wildlife, Mark Scott is going to be coming on with me possibly Friday and talking about the moose season, because that's got a lot of Vermonters all worked up. So the director of Fish and Wildlife going to come on and set the record straight. Hoping for Friday morning by telephone. I'll let you know. I will let you know. We were talking about creamies yesterday a little bit. WCAX did a big thing on creamy. Are you a creamy guy?
I like ice cream. All kinds of ice cream.
Morse Farm, maple creamies. Been there?
Yeah, I've been there.
Had it?
No, maybe not no Morse, but been to other maple farms and had them.
Yeah. Got a favorite one? Favorite spot for creamy?
No.
They're all good. Mm-hmm. Put it down. Just eat it.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the other thing? Oh, yes. Meatloaf and bingo. Are there two things that go together better than meatloaf and bingo?
I could probably think of a bunch.
For
me personally.
Me personally, I can't. I can't think of anything that's...
Bingo just doesn't tickle me.
Bingo? It's a lot of fun, buddy.
Is it?
I can get... Yes. You get some of those old biddies in there, those old gits, and they'll kill you over bingo.
You're not making it sound more fun.
Oh, they take it so seriously.
Right, I mean, that doesn't make it sound fun to me.
But it's fun and it's serious at the same time. but they're going to be doing it. The Tuesday night meal is on at the American Legion tonight. Bingo starts at 5:30. They ask you to please call and reserve your bingo, which starts at 6 o'clock. So come for the Tuesday night dinner at the American Legion, which is meatloaf, and then bingo starts a half an hour later. But please call ahead if you can. Or just get in touch with the American Legion, Post 10 right here on North Main Street. Let's dive in, and let's jump in. Paul Brodie, for those of you who don't know, is a local guy, a local hoodlum, right here on North Main Street in Barrie. And we always have such, not always, I would say most of the time, we have some pretty insightful discussions about life and people and things. And Michael, why am I drawing a blank on his last name? Singer. Michael Singer is, you introduced me to a lot of things, and
Yes.
you have. Sometimes, I would say the ratio is probably like 5-1. Sometimes I introduce you to things, to people, music.
You've introduced me to Rush. And now Michael Singer.
Thank you. 2 things in the last 3 years. That's pretty damn good.
That's great. I haven't listened to Rush since, but Michael Singer, he's on top of my list right now.
What do you think? Tell me, what do you think?
He explains it really well. It being life, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Michael Singer is incredible. I mean, you and I are both big Joe Dispenza fans. And I love Dispenza, but to get other perspectives is incredible. Michael Singer, if you haven't checked him out on YouTube, you don't know what you're missing. He basically, what he drives home is get busy immediately, living your life to the nth degree, in the best possible way that you can. Get on busy living your life, and we're all here for such a short period of time, and for many of us, for most of us, and this is something now that I'm what my age is, which I won't tell you. Not that it matters.
You're 38. It's all fine.
Thank you.
It's all good.
But for many of us, I think we realize too late that all of the shit that we have worried about, thought about, cared about, in the end, amounts to nothing. And that, am I right? And that when it's time for us to go and check out of this world, and some of us don't know when that's going to happen. It could happen suddenly. None of this shit matters, and that we're setting priorities of allowing things to occupy our energy, our thoughts, our speech, our minds. We're allowing these things to occupy and take control over our lives. For the sake of what? Am I on base here?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Yeah, keep going.
No.
Should we answer that question now? For the sake of what?
Yeah.
So we're taking all this stuff in. It's influencing us. It's programming our bodies. Our bodies go on autopilot. We think we're in control, but we're not.
Hang on, let me get my pencil. I'm trying to take notes.
I'm recapping what you said. You just said it. Why do you need to take notes on what I just said?
I'm trying to take notes.
Oh, man.
I'm trying to take notes on what I just said.
You're just trying to remember what you just said? All right.
Slow down.
We're on a recorded podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
So you could just have Jack listen to it later and transcribe it for you.
Good point.
And then translate it to Spanish and French Yeah, Jack's nodding approval to those.
Yeah, no, continue.
Yeah, so all right, so that's the condition for what? For what? Because, according to Michael Singer, we don't feel okay. He says, if you're not okay, then you seek to feel better. You seek to feel okay. And if you're not okay inside, you're taking in all this stuff from outside to try and feel better. And you can't, because nothing outside of you can make you feel anything. You can only choose what you feel based on those things outside of you. Now, if that sounds like a hard thing, then this is important for you to listen to. As an option, I'm not saying this is the way it is. I don't know. Nobody knows anything. I don't know. I definitely don't know anything. But this makes a lot of sense to me. And as you piece it all together, it feels like it's a good blueprint for how to put things in a better condition for yourself. So, if it feels uncomfortable to think that you have complete control over everything that's happening around you and what your response is to it, well, then this Michael Singer is a good person to listen to because he breaks it down in a clear way, I feel like. So you sent me a link yesterday. I'd never heard of Michael Singer before, at least that I'm aware of. But I listened to this 20-minute video that you had sent, and it makes sense. It rings true with all this stuff. It's the 4 agreements. He talks the 4 agreements. 100% he's talking the 4 agreements.
Yes.
And I also just watched Ryan George. He's a comedian on YouTube. If you're not familiar with Ryan George, you should look him up if you like funny things. It's nothing to do with what we're talking about right now, but it just got into my mind, and I'm going to say it. And so he does these little comedy sketches. He's the one behind Pitch Meeting on the Screen Rant channel. Used to be. Now he moved on to Pitch Meetings on his own channel. If you haven't watched Pitch Meeting, it's funny stuff. It's movies and stuff. Anyway, he's got his own channel. He does comedy sketches, and he did one. What if cats had podcasts? And it's incredibly funny. But he goes, it's like he's parroting Joe Rogan and everybody else, but they keep saying 100% back and forth to each other, and I just said 100%. So I've been listening to too much Joe Rogan, I guess, because now it's coming into my mind, and I didn't say it as a joke. I said it as part of my vocabulary. Now I feel less than.
That's
but
okay.
Let go. Who cares?
Yeah.
Let go of the outcomes. That's what Michael Singer says. So anyway, I listened to Michael Singer yesterday, and then I looked for more of him, and he's been on Russell Brand's one of his podcasts a couple times in the last couple months. So I was listening to that when I was walking in this morning. I listened to Russell Brand and Michael Singer talking just to get some more another rendition of what he was talking about. And it's the same stuff. I guess Michael Singer wrote a book. I don't recognize his name at all.
Yeah. But
he's saying the same things that Joe Dispenza is saying. He's saying the same things the 4 agreements. So, and that's what I like about studying these different topics. You get a different perspective. It's the same meaning, but you're getting a different view of it, and that's what's so valuable about life. And we're all creators, and we all contribute our perspective of our experience through our creations. And if you rely only on your own perspective, you're limited. So rely on other people's perspectives as well. Then you'll get the whole picture. You don't have to agree with it, but maybe you would do well to agree with it. Anyway, so let's get back to Michael Singer. So he says, if you are not okay, then you seek to be okay. That makes sense.
Say that again.
If you are not okay, then you seek to be okay. Is that a fair statement?
Exactly.
I mean, I think that's something that we could all agree on.
Yes.
When we don't feel well, we want to feel better.
Yes.
And when we're feeling good, we want to feel better. We always want to feel better.
Right.
And this has been something as part of my work stuff, working as a counselor, is we're always seeking to feel better. I've been talking about that for the whole time. So that's where I like what Michael Springer is saying. He's not saying anything that's new to me necessarily.
Right.
But he's saying things in a different way that I think about it new. So that's important to being open to things, is to realize that you might have a good understanding of something and it might work, but somebody else might have some other elements to it that could also be, helpful or make it improvements or something like that. Sure. So I don't know it, but yeah.
I have to be honest with you. When I was hearing Michael Singer speak, I kept thinking about Rusty DeWeese, because Rusty is, and I don't think you've met Rusty.
I met him
yet?
once, yeah.
Rusty is probably one of the first guys that I have ever met, and you may have been the second, who is so aligned with this kind of stuff. I mean, this is all Rusty. I mean, this is what he is always preaching. Let go of the outcomes. And, you know, I've always kind of said that hopes and expectations can be extremely dangerous.
Yeah, expectations destroy you.
They can also, maybe in some regard, be somewhat useful.
Expectations?
Hopes.
Yeah. Well, hope's different, I think.
But,
Well,
I mean, you should hold yourself to some expectations to be a good citizen, to try to be
I don't know.
a good dad. You're a father. I'm a father. I expect myself to try my best and to be the best dad that I can. I expect that of myself.
Well, so expectations are damaging because, in this line of thought, because they have outcomes attached to them. And if that outcome doesn't happen, then what? And back
There's
to
disappointment.
this idea. If I'm not okay, if inside of me, I've been talking about this hard the last couple of months, that you have to have that inner peace. You've got to. If you don't have peace, and I just use peace as the term, but contentment, whatever. But peace. If you don't have peace inside of you, there's nothing you can do outside of you or receive from outside of you that's going to give you peace.
Yep.
You have to create the peace. But we get domesticated into thinking that I can have peace when I get the better job. I can have peace when I get a raise. I can have peace when I get my own house. I can have peace when I find my forever partner, soulmate. I can have peace when I have kids. I can have peace when I retire. I can have peace when.
That's
right. Why wait until you can have peace? Have peace now. You are peace.
That's
we
Dispenza.
are love.
That's Dispenza.
That's all of these
right
guys.
there.
That's Rusty Dewey's. It's the Four Agreements. It's all of this. We are love. We are peace. We have peace. We're already peace. So an illustration I like to use for that is like, think of like a you ever seen like a Himalayan salt lamp?
Yeah.
You know, so like the pink
Have one.
salt crystal, right?
Have one.
And it glows, and think of it like a glowing crystal. That's your peace inside of you, right? And through it's brightly glowing when you're born, and then through, or like E.T.'s heart, you can see it through his skin,
that's
right?
exactly
but you
right.
got you got this glowing crystal of peace inside of you, and as you experience life, as you go through this domestication process, as you're taught, this is how you should live, this is what you should do, this is how you have to do everything, then it's like painting over that. And so you're putting a coating of something, latex paint or something over it. And real thin layers. But every time someone does something in your environment and you learn something and then you choose to act that way, or so much of it happens, like, you know, we pick up on it and it's outside of our conscious control, I think, when we're really little.
Yeah.
Toddlers and preschoolers and stuff like that. But it's influencing us how we're being taught how to experience the world. And if we're being taught how to experience the world in a way that's not healthy.
That's Toltec right there.
Yeah. Right. And so then every time something like that happens and we think that our peace is dependent upon something external, that we're not good enough, that we're not worthy, that we're not okay, it's like painting over that glowing crystal.
Yeah.
Put a thin layer of something painted over it, and it dries and hardens. And the more layers of that you paint on there, the less the peace shines through, the less you can see it. And so you get to the point where you just got this rock inside of you and you think, oh, I've got a lump of coal where my inner peace should be. And you don't even realize it's your inner peace. And you think that, and the only way you get any kind of light in your life is when something happens outside of you.
Yeah.
And so you become dependent on the
External
external
factors.
Yeah. You become
External
dependent on that
Yeah.
to find peace. And this is how drug addiction works with some substances. You introduce the substance into you, and then you become dependent on it, right? So
chemically, it's firing and wiring good feelings.
Yeah. Right, and so it can happen with any kind of behavior, and it does happen. This is how it happens with like dopamine response and stuff like that. But
Sure.
if we look at like opiate use, for example, opiate dependence, so your brain's making endorphins. You have endorphin receptors. Endorphin is endogenous morphine, so it's morphine from within the body. So your body's making endorphins. You have endorphin receptors, and then opiates come in, and it's a similar chemical structure, and so they bind to that endorphin receptor. The more that you have of that chemical present, the more receptor sites are going to open. It's like locks and keys. If you go to a door and there's only one keyhole and you got 15 locks, you know, in this, it doesn't work with the door analogy. No door is spontaneously going to spring new locks up, but the brain receptor might. The brain receptor can increase the amount of receptor sites. So it's like it's opening up new keyholes because you got all these keys present. So now the more keys you have, the more receptor sites, the more openings are there, the more you can unlock
Sure.
the more it takes to unlock the action potential of that cell group, right? And so then by increasing the amount of that chemical present, you increase the amount of receptor sites. If you suddenly decrease that amount of chemical present, then the receptor sites can't activate that cell. Because now you made it so you need. I don't know if I'm explaining this properly or not. If you follow, but if you need 15 keys to unlock the action potential of that cell, and now you only have 2 keys, you're not going to unlock the potential of that cell.
This is dependency, which is
that's what I'm trying to get to.
which is real science. I mean, it's science.
Sure,
it's
whatever.
biology.
Well, everything's science. We're science. Every time you say, "I wonder what will happen if," that's science.
Yeah,
we're scientists. We're all of us. We're psychologists. We're walking around scientists.
Going up 40,000 feet here.
If you're not okay, then you need to identify yourself as a scientist and have other people embrace what you say as an authority because you're not okay.
Sure.
That's Michael Singer.
Interesting.
But, so dependency. We can become dependent on things. And we can become dependent in a similar fashion to the external things. So am I talking too fast?
No.
Somebody out there is going, he's talking too fast.
No.
I know they are.
No.
I'm doing it then. I don't care. Keep up. That's my say.
Did you just say you don't care?
Yeah,
We're going
I
to
don't
talk
care.
about that.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that.
I've been saying I don't care for my entire life. That's why this rang so true to me. I remember back when I was a kid, my mom said, "What kind of birthday cake do you want?" I don't care. You gonna have cake? Great. You're not gonna have cake? Great. I don't care.
Dependency is this gargantuan umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
We're dependent, like you said, dependent on our cigarettes, dependent on booze, drugs, opioids, whatever it is, dependent on others or outside influences.
Yeah, depending on accolades and thank yous and
to make us
all that
happy,
stuff. Yeah.
to
compliments,
massage our egos, whatever it is.
Well, because we're not drawing from within,
right?
Because we've shut down the peace factory.
That's it. You go out, like Singer says, you go out on a date with someone. Date's okay. You don't get a text afterwards. You don't get a phone call afterwards. And what happens to us is so many of us, oh my God, we depended on that for reassurance,
Yep.
for
feeling okay.
Feeling okay.
Yeah.
I am okay.
Yeah.
I am good.
If she
If
rejects
she likes me, if she likes me,
if she likes me, then that will make me okay.
right.
I'm okay. If she likes me, I'm okay. Because I'm not okay. I'm not okay. So because I'm not okay, which I keep thinking, so My Chemical Romance has a song, "I'm Not Okay, I Promise." Love that
Yes,
song, and that's
yes.
all I've been through in my head every
Yes.
time I hear this guy say, "You're not okay. You're not okay." It's a great song, but if you're walking around saying "I'm not okay," and then you're looking for something to make you feel okay, but nothing can make you feel okay except for yourself. But
Right.
we don't know that. We're dependent on the external thinking.
Sure.
Well, when he was talking to Russell Brand, he was talking a lot about inside, outside, and I was imagery in my head was a house.
Sure.
So you're sitting in your house, and there's a storm going on outside,
Yeah.
and you're safe. There's no, that storm can't get to you
Right.
until you open a door.
Or a window. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
you
sure.
open a door to the outside world, and then the storm comes in on you. And so he's saying, well, sometimes what we do is we open the door, and that stuff comes into us, and then we keep it. If you close your door and the hurricane blows, it'll pass, and you're okay. You know, this is a fiction world where we're assuming that the hurricane's not going to destroy the house. Okay, we don't need, that's the deeper level into the analogy that we're not going to go to. So just forget that. That's where my head always wants to go. But you're in the house. You're safe from the storm. The storm comes. It's beating on the house. You stay inside. You're okay. When you go outside, you're not, potentially. But it's okay to go outside. You're going to get battered by the storm, perhaps. But so what?
Come back
Right?
in.
Yeah, then you come back in. And then you can rest and relax and whatever and recuperate. But you can go out and so like he was saying, you don't have to, you don't become okay and then run off to the hills and hide.
Sure.
That's not the thing. That's not what we're talking about here. You become okay and then you can go out into it. If you're okay inside, you can be okay outside. You just go, because you still have the anchor point that you're okay.
We got some comments here, and I'm going to read them in a second. But, what he talks about is that the mind being the hub of so much, my God, our interpretations of the world and others and our place in it can be so complicated and so involved. And without warning, storms can kick up in our circuitry of our brains. we can all of a sudden find ourselves in a situation where life has happened, and now we have something real to be worried about. We have something real to be angry about. We have something real that we can be reactionary to. And we have something that maybe we have to decide on. What is my choice here? What am I going to do with the cards that I've been dealt with? How am I going to take the bullet and lay there bleeding, or am I going to fight back? How am I going to react to this? Am I going to react with hope? Am I going to react with despair, sadness? Am I going to just give up? There's a lot going on in our brains, man. Mm-hmm. And, I had this conversation with Sherilyn last night, and we were talking about I don't care who you are, get up and begin your day. When you turn on your phone or your TV or your radio or whatever it is, there is a shit ton of bad news that is coming down the pipe. And as human beings, how we receive that information and what we do with it, my God, the banks are collapsing. The churches are barely surviving. There's no one in the pews. The schools are understaffed. The general makeup and psyche of our children living in this world, even pre-pandemic, is just, these are different times, man. It's like when I was Lily's age, things were so simple, and there wasn't social media and cell phones, and there was just less to think about, less to worry about, and you could be a kid. Today, it's and your dad, our kids are about the same age. We have to constantly direct and redirect them into what we, as dads, as parents, as adults, who have hopefully enough wisdom and experience in this world to know what we think is best for them, to keep them going in a positive direction and protect them from all of the shit that's out there. My point is, the general psyche of all of us seems to have taken a hit, and if you just existing today, look anywhere. We're understaffed. We got this, and this is more expensive, and inflation, and the real estate market, and the price of gas, and the price of food. The list, Paul, goes on and on and on and on about how much negative shit is coming down the pipe. But it's how we respond, and it's how we react to these things that matters. And what we were talking about meditation last night, just grounding yourself and coming back to trying to find some inner peace, and saying, like Michael Singer says, we're all just running around on this giant freaking rock that's floating around in the middle of God knows what in our galaxy. We're here for a limited amount of time. Start reprioritizing what you really, truly care about. What's really important to you, because we're all here. We have an expiration date. Mm-hmm. Take the things that you care about and rethink about those things, and ask yourself, do I really care about these things, and will it matter at the end of the day, the week, the month, the year?
Your life.
Your life.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Good night, everybody.
I was just on a run.
That's it. No, it's good. Yeah, that's it. right?
I mean,
Joe
really?
Dispenza says it like you know if oh shoot, I was just thinking it when you said something that triggered it. Now I forgot it. Oh yeah, if you 100% knew that your thoughts are going to create your outcomes, wouldn't you do it? And so the problem is we don't believe this. And why don't we believe this? Because we've been domesticated not to. Maybe not on purpose, maybe, or I should say maybe on purpose, but probably not on purpose. But I think it's I love the conspiracy stuff. And but listen to Michael Singer talking about how that using this language of people who are not okay seek to be okay. And the more influential, the more authority, the more power that people seem to have in the secular world, probably the more not okay they are, because they're seeking to do all these things in order to be okay. Back to my conversation with our local Michael with the politics stuff on town meeting day. If you're seeking to impose your will on somebody else, you're not okay. And none of us are okay. So I'm not calling anybody out specifically. None of us are okay.
I'm okay though.
We can be. We're in moments we're okay. We're okay here and there. We're okay. So actually, everyone is okay. It's the belief that we're not okay that's the problem. That's the issue.
Sure.
We believe that we're not okay. Why do we believe we're not okay? Because that inner peace is painted over.
Yeah.
So gotta get in there and scrape that stuff off. And how do you do that? You just stop believing. That's it. It's just stop believing. It's such a simple thing. All you have to do is stop believing the story that created this sense that you're not okay.
Right.
You are okay.
That's what Singer says.
But I'm homeless, and I have no job, and I have no food. I'm starving, and I'm addicted to drugs, and my family all hates me. They treat me poorly, and I'm living under a bridge. Yeah. Well, those are all awful external circumstances, but you are okay.
External. They're not inside your house until you bring them into your house and store them there forever. And I'm not saying that's an easy thing not to do. Right.
I think it's probably once you're in that pattern, it's easy to take in more and more and more because you've been doing that your whole life. That's what you're taught to do. So, but that's the problem. So and the solution is to stop believing you're not okay. That's not going to feed you. That's not going to put you in a house. That's not going to stop your addiction. Mm-hmm. But it's the first step. And so Singer says, you can't fix the world. You're not trying to fix the world. You're trying to resolve this issue of not being okay in yourself. If you can resolve that issue of not being okay in yourself, what do you do?
But if others believed what I believe politically, then we would be able to fix the world.
Oh, absolutely. If we would all just believe exactly what JD believes,
yeah.
And to some extent that's possible, right? That's possible.
And politically, right here on North Main Street.
Yeah, right here in Barrie. If everybody believed the way that one person believed, then there would be unity. And it might not be the healthiest unity, but it's unity. And unhealthy unity is going to be better than unhealthy disunity or whatever we got. I don't know what we got right now. But this is the reason what we're experiencing is the result of people not being okay, seeking to be okay externally.
Yeah.
And one other thing I wanted to say before we go on. I know you got the comments, but like we were talking about parenting. Singer was talking about that with Russell Brand, and he said it's appropriate to teach your children. But when you're applying whatever form of teaching you're applying, are you doing it because you are not okay, or because you're trying to help them to be better, to learn and to live a more functional life, to protect themselves, whatever, And I think that's crucial to look at. Am I doing this because I'm not okay and I need you to stop doing what you're doing because I have this belief that whatever it is that you're doing as a child, experiencing life, trying to figure things out, acting out because you don't have the words, whatever it is,
sure.
If what you're doing is making me uncomfortable, because I'm choosing to be uncomfortable based on my whole life experiences, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm choosing to be not okay because of what you're doing, am I applying my education, my discipline, my teaching to you because I want to be okay, or because I want you to be okay?
Sure.
I think that's really important to think about.
Listen, one of the things that Michael Singer said that really resonated with me was about the musician.
Yeah.
Who was getting involved with a jam session. Mm. Now, I know that you and Kathy are huge American Idol fans, and you watch it religiously every Monday night, like Sherilyn and I do. Mm-hmm. And I know that last night you were watching and you saw Kelly Clark, who's just absolutely amazing. And I know you're a huge fan.
Absolutely. 100%.
But when you see these when you see these singers walk into the audition room, the amount of, they've got nerves. I mean, they're standing in front of Katy Perry and Luke Bryan and why am I trying to blank? Oh my God, Lionel Richie. They've got huge nerves. They have huge hopes. They've got stars in their eyes, and this is make it or break it time. You've got to get to Hollywood. You've got to. I mean, this is you've got 3 minutes to do it. And if you don't do it, you're going to be back on the same shitty road that you were on an hour ago. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
There's so much care. I care about what these judges are going to think of my looks, my style, my hair, my makeup, my moves, ultimately my voice, or my voice and my piano playing, or guitar playing, or whatever it is. And if they don't like me as much as I hope that they will, I care about that because then that is going to prevent me from getting to Hollywood, and ultimately that's my ticket. It's the golden ticket, Paul, to happiness, to contentment.
It's all a story. And if you believe that story, yeah. If you care about the outcome, right.
If you care about the outcome, that's it, right there.
Well, that's what Singer, and
that's what Singer says.
In his example, he says if you're going to audition for a gig, and you've played in front of people before, you've performed, you're not nervous about playing in front of people, but this one you have an expected outcome for. So you're going to this gig and you're all nervous and you're worried. What happens?
Expected outcome.
What if they don't like me? They're not going to accept me. I'm not going to get this gig. What does that mean? If I'm not okay, I need that outcome because I don't have that glow inside of me. I'm looking for that little friction spark of peace that I can get from rubbing against somebody in some kind of experience. And so if I go in there with the outcome, I have to get this. I have to
golden
win.
ticket.
Yeah, I have to win this.
You got to get the ticket.
Otherwise, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking already, I'm not okay. You're believing I'm not okay. I need to get that, and then I'll be okay.
Yes.
And that's a hallmark of depression thinking. The grass is always greener on the other side. If I can get, and I went through that for a long time. If I can just get this, once I get to this point, then I'll be happy. You're never going to get it if that's your thinking. And if you do, when you get there, you're going to realize, oh, if I just get there, this there is never good enough. It's always another there. If that's your line of thinking, because it's not out there.
Right.
You're chasing stuff when it's right there, inside of you. It's crazy. It's like you're looking for something after you already found it, but you just don't realize it's in your pocket. You're looking for your keys. The keys are in your pocket. You can't find them anywhere. You're never going to find your keys.
Yeah.
If they're already in your pocket, you're never going to find them outside of you. But you keep looking, and you can't be happy until you find them.
I had a friend say to me one time, and I think I've told you this, and it's marvelous. Behold the field where I cultivate my fox. Look upon it and see that it is barren. I don't give a fuck. And many people when they hear that, they automatically think, well, that's a bad attitude. You should.
Right.
You should care.
Yeah, when I tell people I have zero expectations, it's not understood immediately.
Right.
We got a language issue, I think.
Right. There's when you say I don't give a fuck. I mean that can be.
Well, I think when people say that phrase, it's not what we're talking about. It's not what Singer's talking about.
Exactly.
It's not being free of the outcome.
Exactly.
It's being I'm not okay. Nothing's okay. I'll never be okay. So I don't care. And that's a different story.
Right. That's exactly the difference.
So it's about the
here.
intent behind it.
The intent behind it. Of course, and Singer says this, Michael Singer, I care about other people. I hope that other people, right here on North Main Street and in Barrie and everywhere, and ultimately the world, I hope that people are better. I hope and I care about the physical and mental health of my kid, of my wife, of myself, of my friends. So we shouldn't walk around with that T-shirt on that says, I don't give a fuck. But we care about too many things that really aren't going to matter in the end, that don't really amount to much, that aren't necessarily going to serve us well with their purpose of the outcome. We care about those things too much. Some of these singers that are stepping up on stage in American Idol, I feel like saying to them what Michael Singer says. You're great in what you are as yourself. Whether you walk away with a golden ticket and you go to Hollywood or not, take what you have and cultivate that, use that, grow with that.
Well, you can still do American Idol and still go to Hollywood and still get the golden ticket, but do it without the expectation of any outcome, because that's how you get peace. You can do, and I think that's what he's talking about when he says like these people who have the most power in the world are the ones that are the most not okay. They're seeking to be okay through the external things. If I can, back to this idea of if everybody adopted your political views, everything would be great, right? Well, there's a person in history who tried that.
Yes, right. And look what happened.
Right. And who am I talking about?
Hitler.
Well, that was the one I was thinking of, but who else? Everybody. I keep hitting this light. I mean, it could have been. Singer was talking about Hitler in the Russell Brand podcast, but like everybody,
Stalin, every
one of them, everyone that goes up there and these political things, and they try to be in charge of something. They've got this idea. Bill Gates,
Jones,
Jones who, from that analogy,
the guy in Colombia there.
Oh right, the Jones Group.
Yeah,
what are they called?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I forget what they
Jonesville.
Jonesville, right. The Jonesville, right. Those guys. Yeah, everybody, they think that they've got this idea that I can do it better. If you do it, and so sometimes, like Hitler, he's got to exterminate a whole group of people to feel better. Right. But that's what that's what Singer's talking about. He said, like, this guy, he wasn't okay, and so he thought, if I do this thing, then I'll be okay. Now, we don't know what he thought. We don't know. We're told what he thought, whatever, but we don't know. I mean, I guess you could read his book and find out maybe closer to idea of what he thought. But did he think that if exterminating Jews was gonna fix the problems or whatever? And that was the kind of the angle. He said, all of Germany's problems are created by the Jewish people. So if we get rid of them, then all of Germany's problems will go away.
Right.
So he felt that he wasn't okay, that his country wasn't okay, and he thought, I have the answer.
I have the answer. That's right.
So how is that any different than anybody else that says, I have the answer? Just do it my way. I have the answer. Bernie Sanders going, it's okay to be angry at capitalism, his new book. Dude, are you selling that book? Or are you giving it away for free? Are you going on a world tour and doing all these fancy speaking engagements? And how much millions of dollars have you gotten since you've been in Congress for 1,000 years? Because you think you know it better. And I don't care what he does. Great, that's his life. Live your life. But is he doing it because he's not okay inside?
Intent.
If he's doing it because he's not okay inside, well, Bernie, slow down. You're okay. You always have been. It's like the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Glinda comes to Dorothy and says, "Oh, you could have gone home any time. All you got to do is click your heels together." Like, what? Well, I guess she had to get the ruby slippers first.
True.
But she's like, the power is in you. You could have done this.
Yes.
You are the only one that can do this. You don't need the wizard.
Right.
You don't need so the wizard. This is a great. I mean, I don't know. I read the book a long time ago, so I know there's some variations from the movie, but all I can think of is the movie. That's what I've seen the most. But so you've got Dorothy, who's the power is inside of her to go where she wants to go.
Yeah. All
she's got to do is set the intent and go there. You got the wizard, who's just a man.
Yes.
Who thinks he can do it better because he's not okay.
Well, not
because he's lost from home. He's not okay.
Yeah, but he's a con artist too.
That's the man. And then you got the wizard. The wizard isn't real.
Of course, it's not real.
The wizard is a fiction made by the man who's trying to be okay.
Oh.
And then you got the people who believe the wizard is real.
Yes.
And they take his word.
It's the man behind the curtain.
Yeah. So there's a lot of great stuff in there. We don't want to break it all down.
Yeah, there is.
It's really interesting.
But it's amazing how singers like if you're going to be if all of a sudden you're a guitarist, whatever, and you find yourself having an opportunity to have a jam session with the Rolling Stones or whoever, don't be worried about whether
Yeah.
or not they like your.
Yeah, who cares?
Who gives a shit?
And if you get up there and you play and they're like, wow, you play like a 10-year-old. You're terrible. Never ever come around here again. Okay.
But I was just on stage with you. That's the way to think about it.
No, because
Walk away and say,
no,
yeah,
because you
that's
just,
fine.
Well, yeah, but your middle finger symbol. I don't know if
What
you
are
did
you
that on
talking
the
about, middle
camera.
finger? No.
I saw it. I don't know if they saw it, but I saw
talking
it.
about? I never stuck up my middle finger.
But that indicates that there's something that's not love. So it's okay. You guys don't like my playing? Great. I don't care. That
Yes,
doesn't bother me
that's-
personally. I love you guys.
That's the middle finger.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that I don't know. I don't.
I give you the middle finger as a way of saying I love you, Paul.
Oh, okay. All right. I was not a. I'm
weren't aware
I'm
of that?
unclear. I'm unclear on some of the hand gestures that some people make at me sometimes. I usually just smile and laugh at all of them just to make it easier.
But just not caring.
Yeah.
Just not. It's not. It's not so much not caring. It's not
Right.
allowing that situation or that date that you were on, where the person you had the date with never called you back or emailed you back. Not allowing that to bother you.
And you won't unless you have an expectation of an outcome when you do the event. And that's what he was saying. Like, why can't we just go? Let's go and spend some time together and enjoy that experience with no expected outcome. Cool. All right, go and do that, and then whatever happens from there happens. But like he says, like you apply for a job, you either get the job or you don't get the job. They either
Right.
like you, they don't like you.
Right.
And if they don't like you, they don't like you. If you get the job, you get the job. It's great, or it's not. It doesn't matter.
Right.
You do the next thing. And so if you're living moment by moment with no expectation of outcome, you're just experiencing the event.
For what it is.
Yeah, you're just having the event.
That
you're
is Michael
going
Singer.
and playing guitar on stage with the Rolling Stones.
Period.
That's it. Keith Richards tells you you're terrible.
Or he tells you that he wants you to be a member of the band.
Yeah, he wants you to replace him. Doesn't matter. Either way, you have the same response to it. Cool, man.
It's
That's it.
fascinating.
Yeah, and it's gonna take some practice.
Fascinating. It takes a hell
If
of
you
a
want to
lot
go
of-
that way, I want to go that way. I want to be there. I want to go to there.
Raylene, there is both wrong with disappointment. Disappointment can lead you to trying a little harder next time. There is something to be said about always trying hard. Do your best.
Don't try, just do it.
Do your
the universe.
best.
The universe is aligned to provide all things for us, for our experience. We don't have to try to receive any of it. When we try, we prevent it. We try, we repulse.
Set a different goal or realize your own limits. No expectation is the equivalent of everyone gets a trophy.
No, it's not. No.
Not everyone gets a trophy.
Not everyone needs. Nobody needs a trophy. So, all right. So the trophy thing,
happens, and it's okay.
You don't need a trophy. I'm sorry. I'm cutting off. You're reading the comment.
all
Have you
right.
completed that comment?
If it happens, it's okay. Disappointment is not a bad thing, nor are expectations.
You can't be disappointed if you don't have an expected outcome.
Yeah. Well,
But it-
Lily was hopeful that she would get a trophy and a medal with her gymnastics.
Right.
And did in certain categories and did not in other categories. The floor routine, the vault, and what a balance beam, and the high bars and parallel bars, all that shit. But some of her friends did get trophies in some of those that she didn't. Throws these kids into a whirl, man.
And
It's
did you teach her that it's about the experience, not the outcome?
Yes. Mom and I are constantly driving that home. Constantly. When you get on your dirt bike at the house, Lily, you ride it for the sake of enjoying riding it. Not to get on it and kick everyone else's ass all the time, but enjoy the experience, what you're doing. If you fall, you fall. You get back up, you get back on that dirt bike, and you keep riding it because you enjoy riding it. All right, you hit a little patch and you went down. But are you going to let that ruin the rest of your day of riding your dirt bike? Stuff like that.
Right. What is your expected outcome? And if every moment you ask yourself, am I okay? Do I need this trophy to be okay? If you say yes, then you got to reassess that from this perspective. Again, this doesn't have to be everybody's perspective, but I like it personally, so I think we're talking about it because you like it, I like it. It's interesting. It's opening our awareness to something, and it helps us to understand from a different perspective. So it's worth going through it, presenting it as though this is a good way.
Yes.
But yeah, if you have then nobody gets everybody, no expectations. Everybody gets a trophy. That's not what we're saying. Trophies don't matter. First of all, why do you need a trophy? This was something I didn't like get this. I think until. And I still don't get it. I play my little game. You got your trophy.
What are you talking about?
Did you expect that trophy?
This this trophy was the last goddamn thing that I expected. There was real talent in this chili cook-off. I mean, people that really know their shit. Mm-hmm. And the name of my chili was called Pyoma, which is the acronym for pulled it out of my ass. And I ended up winning. Totally surprised.
You know why you won?
So happy.
I'm going to tell you why you won.
Because I didn't care.
No.
Whether or not I won.
I'm going to make a joke, but you didn't. You won because the person who awarded that feels not okay inside, and they thought, if I give it to this local celebrity, in air quotes.
Oh, no, don't say that.
I'm just joking. I told you it was a joke before I said it.
Christ.
No, but see, this is the thing. We don't know, right? If everything is happening all the time. Why does anybody do anything for anybody? Are you doing it because you're okay, or are you doing it because you're not okay?
Right.
Why are you competing why are you in the competition in the first place?
Yeah.
Where a trophy's at stake.
Right.
Are you doing it because you're fun of the experience? Is it fun to compete? And then at the end, when they say you didn't win, they won.
Right.
Do you go, all right, that's awesome?
Yeah.
And then when you win, do they say you got to say the same thing?
Sure.
No matter what the outcome is, you got to say the same thing.
Sure.
That was a great game. That was a great chili cook-off. Whatever it is, that was the same. If you're not attached to the outcome, and people go, well, that's a boring way to live. That's cold. That's closed off. No, it's not, because you're truly enjoying the experience. You don't have an outcome attached to it.
Paul, this past Sunday, Lilies and Scouts, it was the Pinewood Derby. You know what I'm talking about.
I've been to the Pinewood Derby.
All right, thank you. So here we go. In the car on the way to the Pinewood Derby, she's holding the car, giving it the visual inspection.
Mm-hmm.
Are all four wheels turning freely? Is the weight perfect? Is everything ready to go? Aerodynamics, the whole 9 yards. Had the discussion. Many scouts are going to be, there's going to be 17 scouts there, 17 cars. You're one of the 17. Be happy for the outcome of the race, no matter what the outcome is. Mm-hmm. If your car comes in last, be happy for the car that crosses the line first.
Yep.
Be happy for the fastest car. You might have the fastest car. You might have the slowest car. Mm-hmm. But just be happy for the experience of what we're doing. You have an opportunity to be one of the 17 cars there. And we're going to put your car up on the scale. And it's got to be 5 ounces. And it's got to be this and that. But we don't know what the results are going to be until we run the race. Mm-hmm. So don't expect to win. Is that a bad thing to tell your kid?
No, I think, not in my opinion, don't be attached to the outcome.
Don't be attached to the outcome.
Pinewood Derby murdered me when I was young. My car was, the first year I did it, my car was terrible. We carved it to look like the traditional Pinewood Derby, like it comes down to a point in the front, around the back. It was awesome looking thing. It was a G.I. Joe gun turret on it. It was this little tank painted it camouflage. It was fantastic looking.
Yes.
Oh man, I don't think it made it down the track. I lived in, we're outside Princeton, New Jersey, and there was one of the kids' fathers was a Princeton professor of physics or something like that. He built this track. It was amazing.
Right.
It was, it was electronic. Like it was up on his ladders and stuff like that. And you flip the gate, and then the cars run down, and they're like got a little light timer, so it stops. It was awesome. And I don't think my car crossed the finish line. It just stopped once it hit the flat part. I was like, it was devastating to see that. And then I got a little ribbon that said most intimidating. So it's like one of those everybody gets something kind of things. And that didn't help. That did not make me feel any better. I remember I don't like the feeling that I had then. I was 7 years old, 8 years old, whatever it was. I didn't like that experience of my car finishing last. Well, the next year, we got a book on how to win.
Yeah.
So we cut this little wedge, this little doorstop looking thing, and put the weights all in the right places, and sanded down the little pins they use for the axles, and
Sure.
and sanded the tires,
yeah.
put the graphite powder in there,
Oh,
all
the
the stuff.
graphite powder,
Like drilling
yes.
holes in the bottom. But the weights are all. It was all perfect. I mean, there's like somebody who made designed the perfect car,
Sure.
sold a little how-to book out of the Boys Life Cub
Yeah.
Scout magazine,
Right.
got that, and that car dusted everything.
Really?
Like the whole track just caught on fire because it went so fast, and it was and that I felt great because I won. I was a kid.
Yeah.
I went from so I had both experiences.
There's
and both times I should have just been like, I love playing in the Pinewood Derby and not
Yeah.
cared about the outcome.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
I was a kid, and that's how you learn.
I have a great friend who just passed away from brain cancer not too long ago, and with 4 kids. And he would tell me all the time, you constantly are presented with opportunities, not just as a human being, but as a dad. And what are you going to do with those opportunities? And that Pinewood Derby is an opportunity to teach before you even arrive at the track that I'm proud of you. In my eyes, I'm just happy that we're all here, we're all alive, and we all get to race, whether you come in last or first. I mean, this is wonderful.
Yeah. The competition needs to end with everybody laughing and congratulating each other.
Sure.
Anybody's crying and upset, they're not okay.
Of course. Yeah, they're not all right.
And it's okay for kids to not be okay. They haven't learned it yet.
Yeah.
But by this time in our lives, we ought to learn this by now.
Sure.
Back to that basketball game in Alberg back 2 months ago or something, where the guy, the fight.
Yes.
It was a high school basketball game, and spectators, parents,
Yep.
or just people watching high school basketball got into a fight.
Yes.
I don't remember them even saying what the cause of the fight was, but a little brawl breaks out. Some of the high school students are involved in it, and then a man gets injured, goes home, a couple hours later goes to the hospital and dies from complications from that fight.
Sure.
A high school basketball game.
Sure.
Those people were not okay.
I know.
That's what we want to avoid.
Yeah.
And so, like, he goes back to this fixing the world stuff. You can't fix the world, but if we all focus on doing our part to be okay, which we are okay, just let go of the stories that you think that you believe in that say you're not. Let go of those stories, and then realize you're okay. If we all are okay, we're going to treat each other better.
Sure.
If Hitler realized he was okay, and that's what Singer says. He's like, oh yeah, these are just people. I don't need to kill them to feel better.
Right.
If that happened,
Sure.
World War II doesnesn't exist.
Right.
I mean, whatever. Who knows what else would have happened? But
Right.
But you look at it in an oversimplified way. But think about that. Like, how are your choices influenced by? Do you feel okay or not okay? And then what is the result of your choices?
Yeah.
Everything that we do is going to lead to is creating the environment we're in. Joe Dispenza is talking about that. So
sure.
every thought that we have leads to our actions, creates our environment.
Yeah.
And if we're creating that environment from the perspective or the thought that I'm not okay, I need something to happen out here so that I can be okay,
Right.
it's not going to work. And who are we going to step on in order to, so another way to look at it is if you are not realizing that you're okay inside, and so now you're looking at external things. I need to get this job. I need to have these people approve of me. I need to get voted into this thing. I need
to lose weight.
I need to lose weight. I need everyone to agree with my opinion. I need everybody to have the same opinion as me and accept my opinion and agree with my opinion because it's the only way. If that's your perspective, then what you're doing is you're trying to spark the internal flame by all these little interactions out here. And every time you do that, you risk burning somebody else. And you don't need to do that. You need to just spark it inside of here. But again, now if somebody's trying to light their spark off of me and I'm doing my part to be okay and not take things personally, well, then they can rub against me and I'm not going to take it personally. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But if I'm not okay and they're not okay, we're going to go at it.
Yeah.
And so you got your groups in Barrie with these warring factions with all this stuff that's going on. I'm not even aware of it.
Yeah.
And it's not interesting to me, so I don't look for it. But you've got all these people that you're not accepting my opinion, we're not accepting your opinion, whatever. And
yeah.
So what? Why? You're all okay.
Yeah.
Stop pretending you're not okay and be okay. It's hard. Yes.
It's very difficult.
But you got to start with yourself. Imagine moving on.
Thank you.
Imagine it. Perspective. If you can't feel it, if you can't believe that it's possible, then at least pretend and think about it.
And it's imaginemovingon.com.
Sure, I don't have anything on there. It's just my contact information. So it's not worth sharing or going to.
Thank you, brother.
Sure.
I'm going to warn you right now. You better buckle up, because next Tuesday we're going to be talking more about this kind of stuff, but we're also going to be talking about The Bachelor.
Which one? Who?
The current Bachelor.
There's only one?
The TV show.
Oh.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
No.
You want to come over sometime and watch it with me?
No.
Have a great day, pal.
You too, thanks.